Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I don't normally do that kind of intro. I guess I'm just excited to be back, ladies and gentlemen, to be live streaming again, especially a live stream like this one. I haven't done a live stream like this since probably lockdown. So it's been a while. It's been a minute. Specifically like with a stream like this. And for those of you who may not know, the State of the Nation is going to be, well, Cyril is going to be giving us the State of the Nation, which a lot of people are, I think a lot of South Africans don't care, to be honest, but I thought I would do something a little bit different. So we're going to listen together, we're going to watch it together, but I'm going to be adding some visuals that I hope will entertain you during this speech. And I have everything set up, ready to go. We're still waiting for it to start. It says 13 and a half minutes until we begin. So we'll just wait, and the moment it starts, I will switch over. And we will be good to go. Yes. Okay, I'm just making sure that everything is going to be okay on this side. It is. All right. And just very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, if I did like, well, not if, I'm not gonna, it's not an if, because I am going to do this. I'd like to try and do a bit of a fun thing. I've never done it before on this channel. Let's see how it plays out today. Basically, a goal. So I've just started the goal. 20 super chats. Come on, 20 super chats. Let's reach the goal of 20 super chats. What happens when we get to that goal? You tell me. All right, leave your comments in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, in the live chats. Speaking about the live chats, let me actually get that out here in front of me and see what is going on in the live chats. Oh, wow. Xavier. Oh, man. You haven't been on the show in a while. You late, Joe. ANC tendencies. Dude, hashtag dad life, okay? Dad life. Got a newborn. You learn very quickly. You just got to roll with the punches. Robert King saying, hey, Joe, you have a live correspondent here if you need. Yeah, maybe. Why not? Maybe afterwards. Maybe we'll do a bit of a Q&A afterwards or something. I'll tell you what, Robert King, here's an idea. If you hang out for the entire stream, okay, and we get to the goal of 20 super chats, okay, I'll have you on the show right after. You can come on the show. We'll do a Q&A. Let's see if people want that. So we'll need some fart sounds because most. Actually, you know what? I should have thought of sound effects, man. I mean, I have sound effects. Don't get me wrong. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have sound effects. Where are they? Hello. Ah, here they are. Okay, so do I have fart noises? Imagine that one. Oh, that's party time and a triangle. Okay, that I have some others, but they're definitely not. They're not like this random like.
Ma'am, can you give me protection from yourself?
Who remembers that one? Or this one?
Hold on a second, you petty socialist.
That one might be useful. That one might be useful during this stream. I'm not gonna lie. And this one?
Listen properly.
Yeah.
So you intellectually bankrupt.
That one also might be interesting during this stream.
Hong.
Could also probably use that one.
Higgy, that.
Emotional damage.
Yeah. Lyle Adler in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Lyle Adler saying, your accent sounds a little American. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. I wanted it to sound completely American, man. That's because I was born in the States, lived there for a while, moved to Egypt, lived there for a while. Now I live in South Africa. I've been here since 2007. I'm married to a South African. I have 2 kids in South Africa. My mother is South African. I got the South African citizenship through descent from her. I am South African / American. I am African American. Oh, it's starting. It's early. Oh, it's the 21 gun salute. Is that what it is? 21 gun salute? Oh, it's the anthem. Sorry, my bad. He had to look like, I hope they're not going to bomb me right now. The face you give when you think you're going to be bombed. 1 of 44 saying, no D's nuts. No, I didn't. I actually don't like that sound, to be honest. It's like so childish. It's a classic, but it's childish. The president has arrived. Well, yeah, I think he's been there for a while. He's just standing there with his hand on his heart. Look at him. Look at that. I almost said something bad now. That's the defense in case Rwanda decides to visit. Yeah, they would probably miss too. They need to work on their aim. Isn't it blanks that they shoot? Or did they shoot live ammunition? What are these guys doing? Are they hiding a body? What's going on? Okay. Well, I don't think the speech is going to start now. Is it? Someone's doing a sound check. That wasn't me. Someone went... Did you guys hear that? That was not me. Someone was doing a sound check. All right. Look at these peoples. I mean, do you guys want to watch this part, or should we chat by ourselves for a bit? I mean, like, let me know in the comment section. Do you want to hear this part? Do you want to know this part? Like, sorry, I mean like live chat. Let me know in the live chat. Do you want to watch this part, or should we like talk until this thing starts? Watching both you and Parliament TV at once. Okay, cool. Thanks. Want to predict what Squirrel will say? Job creation, despite the fact that he doesn't know how to build or create anything. Pit toilets, but nothing will change. Crime rate will not lower in numbers. Let me just... Let me just... I'll tell you what, let's do that. Yeah, shut up. No offense to the band. I mean, they're great. But let's just... this is actually very interesting. I actually do want to... let's talk about this very quickly. I'm keeping an eye to make sure that if the president starts talking, we'll tune in. But very quickly, any predictions, let me know in the live chats below. Any predictions for what you think the State of the Nation is going to be like? I think because it's the first State of the Nation and GNU and all that, I think Cyril's gonna lie like we've never ever seen before. I think a lot of things are gonna be like blown up. A lot of things are gonna be like, like But he's going to 100% try and put like a positive spin on almost everything. So yeah, there's something interesting happening here. Hold on. Okay, it's frozen. Okay, now this is not me, guys. This is ENCA. It's frozen. Ugh. All right, hold on. Should I choose a different stream? Maybe. Let's try this one. He wants to laugh. He wants to laugh. I don't know what that was about. We missed it.
Order, honorable members.
Okay, I think this is it. Are we gonna start?
Honorable members, there will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation.
Okay.
As we do that, may we please acknowledge our fallen members of the armed forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay. Yeah. Did anybody hear the word cupcake with that woman? That woman that was shouting, I heard President Ramaphosa.
Thank you,
and then
and
cupcake.
please be seated.
No, okay. Don't worry, guys. The trolling will begin
Order,
soon.
honorable members.
I'm just waiting for the...
Honorable members, the President has called this joint sitting of the National Assembly.
Okay, I'm not gonna, okay, that's obviously like an introduction. Cannot hear a thing. Oh, really? Hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. This is important. If you can't hear a thing.
1A, to deliver
Can you
his
still not
State
hear
of
a
the
thing?
Nation address to Parliament. I now call on the Honorable the President to address the joint sitting.
Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear? That's important. Give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear the audio.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members, can we please take our seats? Honorable members, can we please take your seat and
cool.
allow the President to address the House and the nation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let the trolling begin. Just give me a second. Please bear with me.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Toko Didiza, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Ms. Refilwe Ntsueni-Tsipane, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Paul Mashatile, Chief Justice of the Republic, Mandi Samaya, and Judges President, former President of the Republic, Mr. Thabo Mbeki, former President Kgalema Motlanthe, former Deputy President...
No, go back to Cyril. Yeah, we go.
David Mabuza, former Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Baleka Mbete, former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Lichisa Tsinodi, former Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Amos Masondo, Mayor of the City of Cape Town, Mr. Gordon Hill-Lewis, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, regional deans, and heads of missions, members of parliament, and fellow South Africans. We gather here as we mourn the death and tragic death and devastating loss of 14 South African soldiers who were part of a mission to bring peace to the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. We pay tribute and bow our heads to Staff Sergeant William Eddie Ola, Staff Sergeant Mulahlehi.
Don't forget to give the super chats, guys. 20 super chats goal.
Staff
Let's
Sergeant Shahlane Theophilus Siepe.
Don't know why there's a parrot on his shoulder.
Matume Justice.
Got a lot of money there,
Malesa,
Mr. President.
Corporal Renae Nemabulani, Lance Bombardier, Itumeleng McDonald Mureo, Lance Corporal Zeke Moffat Mulapo, Lance Corporal Metsi Stensley, Raswiswi, Rifleman Sibatane Richard Chokwe, Rifleman Derek Maluleke, Rifleman Sidiso Andris Mabele, Rifleman Calvin Louis Moahi, Rifleman Moketi Joseph Mobe, Private Peter Jacobus Strado. Speaker, I thank you for getting us to honor these fallen heroes.
Why do they say riflemen?
Have directed
Were they always there as soldiers?
a national flag be flown at half-mast in honor of these fallen heroes for a week starting from tomorrow morning.
Like you.
Alongside
really
soldiers from other southern African countries, they lost their lives in defense of the fundamental right of the Congolese people to live in peace and security. They lost their lives not in the pursuit of resources or territory or power.
Of course
They lost their lives so that the guns on our continent may be forever silenced. So we salute them.
Listen properly.
My fellow South Africans, this State of the Nation address is taking place as we celebrate 70 years since the adoption of the Freedom Charter at the Congress of the People in Kliptown in 1955. The Freedom Charter is the cornerstone of our democratic constitution. It sets out a vision of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous South Africa. It also sets out a vision of a country in which government is founded on the will of the people of South Africa, where the land is shared among those who work it, where the people share in the country's wealth and in all that the country produces and are all equal before the law. It is this vision that continues to guide us as we work to build the nation that we all want. It is the spirit of the Congress of the People that inspires us as we prepare for a national dialogue in which South Africans are once again called upon to chart a new path for our country. We must chart this path in a world that is rapidly changing. It is a world of both interdependence and competition, of cooperation and conflict. It is a multipolar world in which new countries are emerging to play a greater role in global affairs. We are seeing intensifying competition over issues such as trade, technology, and influence in global institutions. There are global fundamental shifts underway that affect every aspect of human life, from the growing impact of climate change to rapid advances in artificial intelligence, geopolitical tensions, and violent conflicts. In the face of these challenges, we are witnessing the rise of nationalism, protectionism, the pursuit of narrow interests, and the decline of common cause. This is the world that we, as South Africa,
That guy just said this guy's
a
talking
developing
shit.
economy, must
that's what
now
he whispered.
navigate. But we are not daunted to navigate our path through this world that constantly changes. We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied.
Only the ANC that's clapping at that.
We will stand together as a united nation, and we will speak with one voice in defense of our national interests, our sovereignty, and our constitutional democracy. By standing true to our values, by harnessing our unique strengths and endowments, and by forging a common purpose, we can turn these trying circumstances to our advantage and propel our country forward. As South Africans, we stand for peace and justice. We stand for equality and solidarity. We stand for a non-racial future, and we stand for democracy and tolerance as well as compassion. We stand for equal rights for women, for persons with disability, and for members of the LGBTQIA+ community. We stand for our shared humanity, not for the survival of the fittest. So this evening, let us speak of the nation that we want. Let us speak of the future that we want to build. Let us speak of the work that we as South Africans must do, and the work that we are doing to build that nation and to build that future. We want a nation
Seems like
united
Mr. Ramaphosa
in
is
its
drinking
diversity.
quite a bit.
At many difficult moments in our past,
Listen properly.
found strength in working together towards a common goal. Through partnership, we brought peace and democracy to our country, which was once troubled. We overcame apartheid, a crime against humanity that denied people their human rights, that deprived them of the land and livelihoods, that sought to strip them of their dignity, that humiliated them. Through partnership, we overcame
Hey,
a
Mr. President,
devastating pandemic,
I think you're going off
rebuilt
script.
our country in the wake
I
of
found your
state
iPad.
capture as well.
Here it is. Read off
Together,
your
we
iPad.
have built
Read it.
durable institutions
Smell it.
that
Smell
support
it.
our
Now,
democracy,
take it.
that protect our fundamental rights and promote the well-being of South Africans.
I'm going to leave it here.
We
for you,
have
Mr.
built
President.
meaningful partnerships
Julius!
between government and business, and
Julius
labor,
is
and
here.
civil society, and other social partners to drive growth and development. These stand as models of cooperation for the rest of the world. South Africans are continuing to work together to confront our country's challenges and build a nation that works for all. Guided by the wishes of the people as expressed in last year's elections, we have formed a government of national unity to give expression to our culture of cooperation. As political parties, we have set aside our differences and agreed to work together for the good of all South Africans. In the last week, we have adopted the Medium-Term Development Plan, which sets out a clear and ambitious program for the next 5 years. The actions contained in the Medium-Term Development Plan will advance our 3 strategic priorities. Firstly, to drive inclusive growth and job creation. Secondly, to reduce poverty and tackle the high cost of living. And thirdly, to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state.
Same shit, different year.
Our most urgent task is to grow our economy so that we can create jobs, reduce poverty, and improve the lives of South Africans. To undertake this task, we need a government that works for the people.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a
the
state
expropriation
that
bill
is capable,
completely goes
competent,
against everything you just said.
underpinned by a professional public service.
Keep smoking that
South
ganja.
Africans want a state that treats all people with dignity, humility, and respect. A state with leaders who are prepared to serve our people with complete dedication, and public servants who are ethical, skilled, and properly qualified. To achieve these objectives, we are strengthening the role of the Public Service Commission in the appointment of key people who direct the affairs of our state, such as Directors General, Deputy Directors General, Chief Executive Officers of SOEs and board members and other senior positions. We will introduce a graduate recruitment scheme so that we may attract the best and the brightest in the public
I thought
service.
putting a cat would be
A
even more
capable
entertaining.
state must start
than
where
watching
our
this guy.
people live and work. In many cities and towns across our country, roads are not maintained. Water and electricity supply is often disrupted.
Yes, because of the NCs.
Refuse is not collected, and
It's
sewage
all your fault, dude.
runs in the streets.
All your fault. Your party's
In
fault.
part, this has happened because many municipalities lack the technical skills and resources
Oh, so it's the
required
municipality's fault
to
now.
meet our people's needs.
Okay.
Many
You didn't hire
municipalities
anyone
have not reinvested
to make sure that
the
these things run
revenue they
smoothly.
earn or collect from these services into the upkeep of infrastructure. Starting this year, we will work with our municipalities to establish professionally managed ring-fenced utilities for water and electricity services to ensure that there is adequate investment and maintenance.
Oh, I hate it when people clap. Like, it's not going to happen.
Many of the challenges
He's
in
lying.
municipalities also arise from the design of our local government system.
Put the cat on your shoulder.
We will therefore undertake extensive consultation to develop an updated white paper on local government to outline a modern and fit-for-purpose local government system.
You know what?
We will also review
I think
the funding
Trump
model for municipalities.
should have been invited to this so that he could be like,
We will
"You're
do so
fired."
because many of our municipalities truly do not have a viable and sustainable revenue base.
Did I miss anything?
We will work
No.
with
Lies, lies, and more
traditional
lies.
leaders in the implementation of local development programs. We will also seek to work with our traditional leaders in ensuring that they continue their own work as we give them the recognition as the natural and indigenous leaders of our people. We will expand our support to municipalities that require assistance, drawing on the lessons of the Presidential eThekwini Working Group. We are seeing great progress in eThekwini as we implement the district development model, which enables
Only Zuma would be happy about that. I'm
enables
kidding, I
all
don't know.
key role players, as in government, business, labor, and community-based organizations to work together.
Zuma, what do you think about Sir
As
being
we
fired?
work to reform the public
Gives it
service
thumbs up.
and build the capability of the state, we will harness technology to transform the way government works. We will invest in digital public infrastructure to give South Africans access to government services anytime, anywhere, through a relaunched government gov.za platform.
Oh, please.
At the heart of this
More money that
transformation
you're going to launder.
will be the implementation of a digital identity system.
Oh, that's
Now,
not good.
these measures
Of course, John,
will
you're
in
clapping.
the end transform the relationship between citizens and government and create one government that is
Listen properly.
accessible to every person at a touch. We want a nation with a thriving economy, an economy that benefits all. To create this virtuous cycle of investment, growth, and jobs, we must lift economic growth to above 3%. To achieve higher
Yeah.
levels of economic growth,
You screwed that up with
we
expropriation.
are undertaking massive investment in new infrastructure while upgrading and maintaining the infrastructure that we have. We're
Who's gonna-
developing
who's gonna trust
innovative
you?
ways of funding infrastructure. We
Innovative.
are engaging local and international finance institutions and investors
Yeah, not
to
from the
unlock
US.
100 billion rand in infrastructure financing.
Not from the US. Not from the US.
A project preparation bid window has been launched to fast-track investment readiness. This includes revised regulations for public-private partnerships, which will unlock private sector expertise and funds. And government will spend more than 940 billion rand on infrastructure over the next 3 years. Now, this includes 375 billion rand in spending by state-owned enterprises. This funding will revitalize our roads and bridges.
Bullshit.
It will build dams and
Bullshit.
waterways.
Bullshit.
It will modernize our ports and
Bullshit.
airports
Bullshit.
and also power our economy.
Bullshit.
Through the infrastructure fund
Bullshit.
that we launched some time ago,
Bullshit.
12 blended finance projects worth nearly 38 billion rand have been approved in the last year. These are projects in water and sanitation, student accommodation, transport, health, and energy as well. Construction of the Mthentu Bridge in the Eastern Cape the construction continues. This bridge will rise above the river between Port Edward and Lusikisiki.
Isn't that the same
and
bridge
will
that's been
become
delayed
the
and
tallest
is like
bridge in
overpriced?
Africa.
I'm pretty sure it's the same bridge.
The Podihadi Dam in Lesotho will feed 490 million cubic liters of water a year from the Lesotho highlands into the Vaal River system, securing water supply to several provinces for years to come.
No.
Working with international partners,
Stop clapping, John.
we are revitalizing small harbors, unlocking economic opportunities for coastal communities. We're also looking very closely at the harbor that we will build in the Northern Cape, in Bochubai, because that is going to be a game changer for the Northern Cape. We are steadily removing the obstacles to meaningful and faster growth. The economic reforms that we are implementing through Operation Vulindlela have created a new sense of optimism and confidence in our economy. Investors are looking at South Africa with much more
That's a squirrel
interesting
costume, in
eyes
case you guys didn't.
as they see the reforms that we are implemented through Vulindlela. We have made progress in rebuilding and restructuring a number of our network industries. We are seeing positive results in the improvement of the functioning of our network industries, as well as the investment opportunities that are opening up and are being taken up by investors, leading to job creation. Working together with business, labor, and other social partners, we must now finish the work that we started. Over the coming year, we will initiate a second wave of reform to unleash more rapid and inclusive growth.
Oh, crap.
Our immediate focus is to enable ESCOM,
That's code for communism.
Transnet, and other state-owned enterprises that are
Listen
vital
properly.
to our economy to function optimally. We are repositioning
Hold on a second,
these
you petty
entities
socialist.
to provide world-class infrastructure while enabling competition in operations, whether in electricity generation, freight, rail, or port terminals. We continue with the fundamental reform of our state-owned enterprises to ensure that they can effectively fulfill their social and economic mandates. Now, this includes the work underway to put in place a new model to strengthen
This is not easy,
governance and oversight
For a
of
man
our
standing still, he
public
moves a lot.
entities. We will ensure public ownership of strategic infrastructure for public benefit while finding innovative ways to attract private investment, to improve services, and to ensure public revenue can be focused on the provision of public services. We are in the process of establishing a dedicated SOE reform unit to coordinate
really?
this work.
Oh, my word.
The measures we have implemented through the Energy Action Plan have reduced the severity and frequency of load shedding, with more than 300 days
No,
without
absolutely
load
it is.
shedding since March 2024. Now, while the return
The electricity minister
of
looked like
load
he's like,
shedding
yeah,
for
but load shedding
2
could happen
days
any moment
last
now.
week was a reminder that our energy supply is still constrained.
No.
We
There's a
remain
reminder that
on
you
a
hold the country
very
hostage
positive
when ESCOM doesn't
trajectory,
get money.
whether people like it or not. We now need to put the risk of load shedding behind us once and for all. And the Minister of Electricity will speak about it in about 2 weeks or so when he presents to Parliament. We need to put that once and for all behind us by completing the reform of our energy system to ensure long-term energy security. The Electricity Regulation Amendment Act, which came into effect on the 1st of January, marks the beginning of a new era in our energy architecture. This year, we will put in place the building blocks of a competitive electricity market. Over time, this will allow multiple electricity generation
It's Cyril Amasaurus, guys.
entities to emerge and to compete. We will mobilize private sector investment in our transmission network to connect more renewable energy to the grid. The minister will tell us that we still need to install 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines. We therefore need to mobilize finance from a number of sources to enable this to happen. As we reform our energy system, we are continuing to build successful multilateral partnerships in the global effort to halt the devastating impact of climate change.
Oh boy.
Our just energy transition is gaining momentum. Over $13 billion have been pledged by the international community, and significant private capital is being invested locally. We are determined to meet our carbon reduction commitments and will do so at a pace and at a scale that our country can afford.
Yep.
We are revitalizing our port terminals
Brachiosaurus.
and rail corridors through the Freight Logistics Roadmap, which was adopted by Cabinet, leveraging private capital to restore our logistics infrastructure to world-class standards. Transnet's performance has stabilized and is steadily improving. We released a network statement in December last year, which for the first time will enable private rail operators to access the freight rail system that will continue to be owned by the state. Open access to the rail network will allow train operation companies to increase the volume of goods transported by rail, while our network infrastructure remains state-owned. This will ensure that South African minerals, the vehicles that we manufacture, our agricultural produce reach international markets, securing jobs and earning much-needed revenue for our fiscus. New cranes and other port equipment are being commissioned to speed up the loading and unloading of cargo and reduce waiting times for ships in our various ports. As we forge ahead with the reform agenda, an urgent priority is to ensure a secure and reliable supply of water across the country. Many people in our cities, towns, and villages are experiencing more and more frequent water shortages as a result of failing water infrastructure. It is impossible to live without water, as we all know, and it is impossible for the economy to grow without water. We are therefore taking
They're right there in front
a
of you,
series
Freddie.
of decisive actions to resolve the water crisis, to enable our people to get water where they live, whether in townships or in the rural areas. We are investing heavily in expanding our water resources. Wherever one goes in our country, we often hear our citizens raising the issue of water continuously. So we are raising this issue to a much higher level. And like we did with electricity, I know and I am hopeful that we will resolve the water crisis that we have.
But you caused it in the beginning. You create the problem, then you fix it. It's like weird. Okay. What'd you call me?
Bakubyela kuri hi hava mati hi lava kuri hulumeni ai tisela mati hi ta swendla swaleswo hi lava kuri mi tiva kahle la mi nga tshama kona kuri mati a ta va kona hi ta wa tisa mi wa kuma.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you're enjoying this, at least the trolling, super chats. Let's get to 20 super chats.
23 billion
Do it.
rand
Any amount
for
above 35
7
rand.
large water infrastructure
cheap.
projects.
Please
We
support
have
the
ended
channel.
delays
Thank you.
in major water infrastructure projects like Phase 2
Yo,
of the
massa.
Lesotho Highlands Water Project and the Umkomazi Dam. Work is underway to prepare for construction of the Ntabelanga Dam on the Umzimvubu River to supply additional water for domestic use as well as for irrigation.
And if you
in the
haven't yet,
Eastern
subscribe
Cape.
to the channel.
Within
Thanks.
the next year, we will complete the establishment of the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency to unlock much greater investment in water projects.
I.e. looting.
Through the Water Services Amendment Bill, we will introduce a licensing system for water service providers and remove licenses where providers do not meet the standards for quality drinking water.
Or if they're not black, right? And that's probably what you're going to do.
As part of
BE.
our reform agenda,
Part of your
we
communist
will
agenda, yes?
ensure that our focus on water is intensive and it speeds up. As we move ahead with our reform processes, we will continue to enhance our visa system to make it easier for skilled people to invest in our country and to grow tourism.
Okay.
This year, we will launch the electronic travel authorization system to enable a secure, fully digital visa application process.
Ah.
Now, this system,
Wipe the smile off your face, man.
this system will use artificial intelligence and automation to reduce the scope of corruption and enable rapid turnaround times for tourist visas. We have cleared over 90% of the backlog of more than 300,000 visa applications. Now, in many ways, these changes that are underway, these reforms that we're implementing, send a very strong message that South Africa is indeed open for business and tourism. As we open for tourism, the Chinese market, the Indian market, the market in the Middle East, the market in Europe and all over are waiting to come as tourists to our country. We want a nation in which prosperity and opportunity is shared by all. For many decades, our economy has been held back by the exclusion of the vast majority of South Africa's people. Black South Africans were deprived of land, of capital, of skills, and of opportunities. Our economy was starved of the potential that it has.
Your fault.
And this is why We need to transform our economy
No.
and to make it more inclusive.
No.
That is why our focus is on empowering our people, on empowering women and persons with disabilities, because they were deliberately excluded from playing a role in the economy of their own country.
How is a disabled
And we will
person
set up
supposed to lay
a
bricks?
transformation fund worth 20 billion rand a year over the next 5 years to fund Black-owned and small business enterprises. We will fast-track
Only
the
Black-owned.
regulations of the Public Procurement Act.
Hold on a second, you
to
petty
ensure
socialist.
that businesses that are owned by women, by young people, and persons with disabilities receive equitable opportunities in government contracts. And we have started and will continue to train women entrepreneurs to enable them to compete for government tenders. In November last year, we launched the National Skills Fund Disabilities Program. In its first phase, this transformative initiative will empower over 10,000 persons with disabilities through tailoring training for them and through ensuring that they get stipends and specialized tools. This part of the work we must undertake as business, as government and labor and civil society to enable people with disabilities to play an important role in the economy of our country. For far too long, they've been relegated to the back rooms of everything. Through these programs, we are not only righting a grave historical wrong, we are unleashing the potential of our economy for sustained growth. We want a nation where there is work for all, where every person can earn a decent living and realize their potential.
Then cut your regulations back.
Where the rights of workers are protected and working conditions are improved.
Then
where women and men receive equal pay for work of equal value.
Then mind your own goddamn business and let the people
We need
decide.
to ensure that growth
Open up the market. Get a
creates
free market.
jobs for all.
Get a free market.
And especially for young people. The success of the
You are the
presidential
reason why there's
employment
unemployment.
stimulus shows how public employment programs can create meaningful work that generates a wider benefit and contributes to sustainable employment. The employment stimulus that we introduced during the COVID period,
which
has created almost 2.2 million work and livelihood opportunities through innovative models that provide high-quality work to participants.
with 350 rand.
The Social Employment Fund has created over 80,000 jobs this year. It has supported more than 12,000 participants to enter entrepreneurial activities. During the past year, young people secured 235,000 work opportunities through the National Pathway Management Network. And this is underpinned by the SA Youth Mobi platform.
No.
We now need to build on these innovative programs to create jobs for young people at ever greater scale. And to create jobs, we must leverage our unique strengths as well as our unrealized potential to build the industries of the future, as in green manufacturing, renewable energy, electrical vehicles, and the digital economy that is also driven by artificial intelligence. This year, we will finalize a modernized and comprehensive industrial policy that drives economic growth. We will achieve this ambition by focusing on the opportunities in localization, diversification, digitization, and decarbonization. We are working towards the full implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which will tear down the barriers to trade on our continent. As the most industrialized economy on the African continent, we are positioning ourselves to be at the center of this new growing market. We are harnessing the sun and the wind to make our country a leader in renewable energy and green manufacturing. With an abundance of cheap green energy, we can produce products that are competitive anywhere in the world and create hundreds of thousands of new jobs in this process. We are making sustainable use of the rich abundance of the South African earth by supporting our farmers, improving our logistics network and rural supply chains,
Xavier.
and opening new export markets for products that we grow or produce.
Typical.
We can significantly expand our agricultural sector. We want South Africa to be leading in the commercial production of products such as hemp and cannabis.
No worries, Leonora.
A product that is so well known in
Give
the
a super
Eastern
chat
Cape
on the way up, please. Let's get to 20 super
KZN.
chats.
A product that our forebears have produced for generations and generations. We can add modern value to it and bring it to the shelves of the entire world. We are breathing new life into the mining industry, which remains one of our most important and valuable endowments. I often say that mining was the bedrock on which our economy was built.
You are the
And it
last
continues
person
to
to
be a
talk about
sunrise
mining, my friend.
industry. We are on track to implement a new, modern, and transparent mining rights system this year, which will unlock investment in exploration and production. We will put in place an enabling policy as well as a regulatory framework for critical minerals. By beneficiating these minerals here in South Africa, we can make use of the extraordinary wealth that lies beneath our soil for the benefit of our people. Even more valuable than our natural resources are the diversity, the energy, and the talent of the people of this country. The services sector is now the largest part of our economy, ranging from financial services to retail, hospitality, tourism, and the burgeoning creative industry. The tourism sector is growing rapidly, with close on to 9 million tourists having visited our country last year.
Hey!
One of the attractive sides in our
Thank
country,
you, Real Necro, for the
which we
first
want
super
to see
chat of the
growing
day.
more and more
Come
is
on, guys.
Robben Island.
Let's
I
get to that
visited
20
Robben Island
super chat goal. We got
on the
19
8th of
left.
January.
Thanks, Joe, for your
And
work to expose
I
these
got
criminals.
to hear
You're
that
most welcome. Thank you for
in
the
a
super
year
chat.
they are now
Or as we
going
call
to
them here,
receive
Sasa chats.
300,000. They want to grow it to 500,000 visitors in a year. And most of these visitors are South Africans. So we will grow tourism through our visa reforms, through increasing the number of flights to key destinations, and through the marketing of our country as the best country to visit in the world. And we have also seen strong growth in digital services, as well as business process outsourcing, as well as data centers. As the need for data grows in the world, our country is seen as a reservoir of having data centers. And this is continuing to create jobs for young people. To support this growth, we are investing in skills development for the industries of the future. The Jobs Boost Fund has pioneered a new model that links funding for skills in demand for the successful placement and particularly employment of young people. We are expanding our support for small and medium enterprises and for the informal economy, which sustains millions of jobs as well as livelihoods across our country. This includes streamlining funding for small businesses, unlocking venture capital for high-growth startups, and developing a regulatory environment that enables rather than restricts informal enterprises. To build an innovative economy, the Department of Science and Technology and Innovation will establish an innovation fund to provide venture capital to tech startups that emerge from our higher education institutions. We are calling on business to use the SA Youth Mobi platform, which currently has some 4.5 million young people registered for their hiring purposes. We're calling on business to support the Youth Employment Service to scale up workplace experience opportunities over the coming year. We want a nation where no one goes hungry. For 30 years, since the dawn of democracy, we have worked together to reduce poverty. Today, our country spends around 60% of our national budget on the social wage.
Hey, we got another super chat. Thanks so much, or Sasa chat as we call them
social protection,
on this channel. Thank you guys so much.
Community development,
that is
and public
2 super chats so far. 18 more to get to our goal. Come on, guys. 35 Rand. Let's get to our goal. Woo-hoo!
Unemployed and vulnerable
you,
people in our country receive social assistance. More than 10.5 million learners go to public schools where they do not have to pay fees. Last year, over 900,000 students from poor working-class backgrounds and poor families and working-class backgrounds received funding to study at universities and colleges. Now, through these programs, we are alleviating the worst effects of poverty. We are providing the means through which South Africans can rise above poverty that has been passed down from one generation to the next. But we have much to do, and much more work needs to be done to end poverty in our country. We must do much more to ensure that women in particular no longer face the hopeless task to feed and clothe their children. While government invests heavily to support poor and unemployed people, these programs are fragmented and sometimes they are difficult to access. We are therefore building an integrated system of support for poor and unemployed people. We are strengthening existing programs from job search support to public employment and making sure that together they provide people with pathways out of poverty. Rather than expecting those in need to approach several government agencies separately, a citizen should be able to go to one place to receive all the support that they need. To protect the gains that we have made since 1994 in advancing children's rights, we will adopt the National Strategy to Accelerate Action for Children, which focuses on 10 key priorities, including poverty reduction, child protection, and addressing malnutrition. The Social Relief Distress Grant is an essential mechanism for alleviating extreme poverty. We will use this
it's a way for you to buy votes, although that didn't work in the last election.
For the introduction of a more sustainable form of income support for unemployed people. Now, central to our efforts to end poverty and to develop our economy is to provide decent, quality education to every South African. We are immensely proud of the achievements of the matric class of 2024.
Well, you got nothing to do with it, though. That's just students who work hard.
Which achieved
also,
the highest pass rate
the pass rate's 30%, man. It's not, no.
Now, 87% of learners who sat for their matric exams passed. For the first time in the history of our country, nearly half of these learners achieved bachelor pass. Nothing can diminish, frankly, nothing can diminish our pride in the hard work of these learners and the steady support of their teachers, parents, and broader community. And let us give them a big round of applause.
It's very telling who's clapping and who's not.
We should all be proud.
He's like a seal.
Of the class of 2024. But our immediate focus is to expand access to early childhood development for every child. Now, this will be achieved through registering and formalizing existing ECD centers and ensuring that they have the facilities, the training and material that they need to provide quality learning.
This is bullshit.
We will focus on ensuring that every child can read for meaning in the foundation phase to set them up for success in later years. To achieve this, we are implementing mother tongue-based bilingual education. We do this to improve literacy and numeracy, and rolling out lessons plans, reading books, and other interventions that have been proven to work. The Funza Lushaka bursary scheme will continue to prioritize students who want to pursue a teaching career in the foundation phase. Last year, we signed the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act.
I didn't think it was going to be so long.
Which was passed by this parliament.
I didn't think it was going to be so long, so I don't have enough PNGs. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be more prepared next time.
Now, this act is pivotal for ensuring that education is accessible and is inclusive for all South Africans. This year, the Minister of Basic Education will introduce national policy,
When he says inclusive, he
the
means black
norms
people.
and the standards and
Like
regulations
it's going to be for black people.
to empower all
only.
partners in the basic education field to support the implementation of the Act. Now, to ensure that the economy has the skills that it needs, we are increasing the production of artisans through TVET colleges. Now, this is part of the shift we are undertaking towards education and skills development that combines formal learning with job training. Now, drawing on the models that have proven to be so successful in other countries, we're calling on the private
South Africa
sector
is not like other countries.
to offer young people experiential learning opportunities while they undertake their studies.
It's called an internship.
We
but
are
okay.
implementing phase 1 of the comprehensive student funding model for higher education to address the needs of the missing middle. This will support approximately 10,000 students in the first year. We want a nation
Exactly, grasshopper.
in which there is quality health care for all.
Oh boy, here we go.
This year, we will proceed with the preparatory work for the establishment of the National Health Insurance. Now, this includes developing the first phase of a single electronic health record system, the preparatory work to establish the Ministerial Advisory
A lot of
Committee
digital
on the
talk.
health technologies and healthcare benefits, and an accreditation framework for health service providers. The NHI will reduce inequalities in healthcare by ensuring that everyone gets fair medical treatment.
Fair medical treatment, but
Now,
it's not
the
world-class
NHI
medical
will
treatment.
save many lives by providing a package of services that include, for example, even more especially, maternal and newborn care and services also for people living with HIV, those with TB, and those suffering from non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Our most immediate priority is to strengthen the health system and improve the
Almost
quality
missed it.
of
Macy,
care.
thank you so much for the
A vital part
67
of
rand
this
super
is
chat
the
or Sasa chat. Thank you so
modernization,
much.
the
17 more
improvement and the
super chats
maintenance
until we get to our goal. Come
of
on, people.
existing health
Let's do this.
facilities and the construction of new hospitals and clinics. A number of hospitals are under construction or are undergoing revitalization. Now, these include the Limpopo Central Hospital, the Siloam District Hospital in Limpopo, the Tlhabeng Regional Hospital in the Free State,
How's that, Sean?
the Bambisana District Hospital, Zitulele District Hospital in the Eastern Cape, and the Bupelong Psychiatric Hospital in Northwest. Now, our projects, rather other projects, are at various stages of design and development. Now, this includes the replacement of 3 existing new central hospitals, 5 new district hospitals, 5 community health centers, and a new psychiatric hospital. To improve patient experience, we are putting more emphasis on reducing waiting times, cleanliness, and staff attitudes in the public health facilities. We are encouraged by the great progress the country has made towards ending HIV and AIDS as a public health threat.
Almost
By
a
the
pandemic.
end of March 2024, 96% of people living with HIV
I'll keep it in
knew
mind
their
for next time, Sean.
status. 79% of these were on antiretroviral treatment, and 94% of these were on treatment with virally suppressed conditions. Now, to ensure that we reach the target of 95, 95, 95, which has been set by the World Health Organization,
Hey.
we will this year
Peter
launch
Sawanga giving a 35
massive
Rand super chat.
campaign
Thank you so much. Yo, yo,
to
Joe.
look
How
for an additional
about that electric city?
1.1 million people
Thanks,
who
Peter.
are not yet on treatment.
Thanks for the sausage chat.
We are concerned
How many do we have left
about
now?
the potential impact
I'm losing.
of the decision
I'm
by
actually
the
losing
United
track.
States government to suspend some of its
Okay,
funding
so we
for
got
HIV
4
and TB programs
super
in
chats.
African countries.
We need another
for 90
16.
days.
Come on, guys. 16
Now,
super
this
chats.
funding
For as little as
that we
35
get
Rand. Come on.
accounts for about
Let's get to the goal.
17% of our country's HIV spend. We have been able, over the years, to provide funding from our own resources, our own fiscus, for our HIV and TB programs. We are looking at various interventions to address the immediate needs and ensure the continuity of the essential services that we might lose if this funding does not come through. Now, to tackle inequality, we do need to undo apartheid special planning,
Oh my God.
which has scarred our country,
There it is.
our cities, and
Apartheid,
forced
ladies and
many
gentlemen.
people to live far away from areas of work and opportunity. We have delivered millions of housing opportunities since 1994,
Sound the alarm.
providing
He
safety
spoke about apartheid.
as well as dignity to poor households. Yet the practice of building housing developments on the periphery of urban centers has in many ways perpetuated inequality and urban sprawl. Going forward, we're going to build more housing in our city centers and closer to places of work and business. Now, we are redesigning our housing subsidies and directing more funding towards programs that enable people to buy or rent a home in an area of their choice. We will release more underutilized state properties for affordable housing development. And we are working with our
Fair enough.
provinces and metros, and I'm glad that a number of our premiers are here as well. We're working with them to reclaim buildings that have been hijacked in the city centers and repurpose them for public use. Now, we will provide 300,000 service stands to qualifying beneficiaries to enable housing development in well-planned, connected communities along key development corridors. We will clear the backlog of title deeds for subsidized housing, turning homes into household assets. And we will review land use, building, and other regulations to enable low-cost property development, including backyard housing. This represents a fundamental rethink of how the state delivers housing at scale while turning our cities into engines of growth and opportunity. In making our cities work for their residents, we will restore the remaining passenger rail corridors and stations to full service. More than 80% of passenger rail corridors have been returned to service. Now, PRASA has introduced over 200 modern, locally produced trains on its network to provide a low-cost option for public transport.
Which is probably how everybody else is
Over the next 5 years, we will restore PRASA's signaling system so that we can put all our new trains to work and commuters can be assured that they can reach work safely, affordably, and on time. Now, we also want a nation in which everyone is safe. The police continue to work with other law enforcement agencies to dismantle organized crime syndicates and combat financial and violent crimes.
Is he taking credit for Ian Cameron's work right now?
The South African police has partnered with the metropolitan municipalities and continues to work with communities to fight crime
even that guy's like,
in the priority provinces where crime is particularly high. Now, we are intensifying Operation Shanela. Shanela has been successful in arresting suspects, recovering firearms, and seizing stolen vehicles. And we must continue to tackle the scourge of gun violence that has continued to plague our society
Thanks,
for
Sean,
decades.
for the super chat, 35 Red. This
I have
super chat
asked the
is
Minister
conditional at aiming
and the National Commissioner of Police to prioritize reducing gun-related crime and violence. Now, this
thanks for the
includes
super chat or Sasa chat. We now have 15
the diversion of firearms
super chats left to get to our goal. Come on,
into
guys.
the
Let's make it happen.
illicit market and recovering illegal firearms in circulation. We know from international evidence and our own experience that this is the most effective way to reduce overall violent crime. The detective service, which is crucial to solving cases, will expand by 4,000 personnel through the internal recruitment processes.
It's not enough.
And we are working on adopting surveillance, analytics, and smart policing solutions for modern law enforcement.
I'd like to see you try that in the townships, please.
In fighting crime, and a number of countries that have opted to utilizing technology have made great progress. And by utilizing artificial intelligence in its fraud risk detection and verification work, SARS has prevented the leakage of over 95 billion rand in impermissible refunds. It has recovered 20 billion in revenue and dismantled an illicit tobacco and gold scheme. We continue to work across society to end the violence that is perpetrated against women. We have promulgated the National Council on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide Act, establishing a national structure to oversee a coordinated response to this crisis. We will ensure that the Council is fully functional and properly resourced. We continue to strengthen support to victims of gender-based violence. There are now 65 Tutuzela centers across the country Out of the 52 districts in our country, 44 have gender-based violence shelters. All police stations in the country now have victim-friendly services. And another
Doesn't
16
sound like it.
sexual offenses courts will be established in the next financial year. Now, we want a nation that deals with corruption. Last year, we established the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption as a permanent entity of the NPA dedicated to investigating and prosecuting high-level corruption. We will ensure that the directorate is fully resourced
Did anyone go to
and
jail?
have access to information that it needs to prosecute state capture cases and hold those responsible to account.
You had the Zondo Commission.
We are establishing a world-class digital forensic lab to support the investigation of complex corruption and financial crime.
What?
We are making steady progress in implementation of the recommendations of the State Capture Commission, including signing into law several legislative reforms.
Of course, more
The
regulation.
Special Investigating Unit and Asset Forfeiture Unit report that over 10 billion rand has been recovered in state capture-related cases. Now, this year, the Department of Justice and Constitutional Department will report on the review of the Anti-Corruption Architecture, National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council. This is expected to streamline legislation to eradicate duplication of mandates and foster greater cooperation between law enforcement agencies. And we will finalize the whistleblower protection framework and introduce the Whistleblower Protections Bill in Parliament during this financial year.
I doubt it will work.
This year, we will strengthen South Africa's system of dealing with terror financing and further legislative systems improvements. To secure our removal from the International Financial Action Task Force grey list, we have made significant progress in addressing the weaknesses that were identified in our law enforcement system.
You can talk
with
all you want.
16 out of 22 action items
But where's
fully
the proof?
addressed. We want a nation that is at peace with the world. We want to continue through our international relations to advance the well-being of the people of South Africa as we seek to advance the well-being of humanity. Now, we will work to strengthen our trade relations around the world and to leverage our strong and diverse global alliances to make our economy more resilient. The key pillars of our foreign policy remain the promotion of human rights, peace and friendship, and the strengthening of fair trade and investment ties with other countries. Now, these are the principles that guide our presidency of the G20 this year.
Oh boy.
We have chosen the theme of solidarity, equality, and sustainable development to underscore the need for cooperation and partnership amongst the countries of the world. For the first time in its history, the G20 is being hosted on the African continent. And this is particularly important following the admission of the African Union as a member of the G20. It is a great opportunity for us to place the needs of our continent and the rest of the global South more firmly on the international development agenda. Our G20 presidency is a valuable opportunity for South Africa to advance efforts towards greater global economic growth and sustainable development. Africa remains at the center of our foreign policy. We continue to work to strengthen the African Union, to support the achievement of peace, development, and economic integration on our continent. We know that our future prosperity is intricately linked and bound
Sorry, guys. This is getting really difficult
to
to
the
watch.
prosperity of the African continent. For South
I did not
Africa
know he
to
was going to
thrive,
talk so much cock for so long.
we must ensure that Africa does indeed thrive as well. And we must silence the guns on our continent.
Oh, there's the. Oh,
Now,
did he?
since the
Ooh.
advent of democracy, we've been
Is he going after the guns?
instrumental in restoring stability in countries such as Cote d'Ivoire, Burundi, South Sudan, Lesotho. More recently, we've been part of the SADC peacekeeping mission in Mozambique that has brought relative calm and stability to the Cabo Delgado
Thanks again,
province.
Sean, for the super chat. He says, let's all of
The
us
presence
in this
of
chat
South
do class
African
action land claim
peacekeepers
on Pala
in
Pala
the
for
eastern DRC
expropriation
is
and no
testament
compensation. And we
to our
want the couch.
continued commitment
Thanks
to
again, Sean.
peaceful resolution of one of the world's most intractable conflicts
This means
that has
14
gone
super
on
chats
for
left to get to our
years,
goal. Come on, let's make it happen,
and
guys.
that has cost millions of lives and displaced many people. Now, we call on all parties to embrace the current diplomatic efforts to find a peaceful resolution, including honoring the Luanda process. We will attend the joint summit between SADC and the East African Community scheduled to take place in Tanzania this weekend, where we will reiterate our call for a ceasefire and a resumption of talks to find a just and enduring solution, and we will make sure that our boys, our soldiers do come back home.
Okay.
We have always believed that the freedom that we won and the international solidarity from which we benefited does impose a duty on us to support the struggles of those who continue to experience colonialism and oppression. South Africa continues to stand in solidarity with the people of Palestine, who have endured decades of illegal occupation and are now experiencing indescribable suffering. And South Africa has acted in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention by instituting proceedings against Israel in the International Court of Justice. We are fully committed to the articles of the United Nations, including the principles that all members should settle their international disputes by peaceful means. We support the principle of respect of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all states and peoples. We continue
wait. That's important.
to participate in the different peace
a referendum
processes
to the Western Cape.
seeking to bring about a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. South African delegations have been instrumental in developing a framework for negotiations towards a just peace in Ukraine based on the UN Charter
Real
and
Necro,
international
probably not,
law.
no. I've got to go straight after he's
Our
done.
country
I'll probably do like
continues
a quick comment
to
and then I'll go.
advance its agenda of cooperation and multilateralism through its membership of the United Nations, the African Union, the Non-Aligned Movement, BRICS, and a number of other international bodies. As humanity confronts unprecedented challenges, we are determined that a reformed and representative United Nations must be at the center of global affairs. And we will continue to push for progress on the reform of the UN Security Council to be a more inclusive, more effective body that is able to ensure peace and security. And we will work to ensure that the needs of the people of the world are advanced. And the work that we do and what we stand for does need to be explained to many key players, especially to our trading partners and the many countries and leaders that we interact with on the global stage. And with a view of explaining the positions that we have taken, and in particular, the objectives that we wish to achieve during our presidency of the G20, I have decided to send a delegation of government and other leaders to various capitals on our continent across the world. This delegation will interact with various key players on a variety of matters that affect South Africa's interests. I will direct that they leave as soon as possible to interact with various key players on our continent and in the world, so that our presidency of the G20 objectives can be well explained. All these things that we speak of are possible. As South Africans, we know the power of cooperation, of what is possible when people of different backgrounds, different races, cultures, languages, and ethnic groups and religions come together behind a shared objective. The formation of the Government of National Unity provides us with an opportunity to show once again that we can achieve what we can achieve by working together. And I call on all South Africans, united in our diversity, to come together in the national dialogue that we are going to have to define a vision for our country for the next 30 years. The national dialogue must be a place where everyone has a voice. It must be a place to find solutions that make a real difference in people's lives. The dialogue must reaffirm that each and every one of us has a role to play in building the nation that we want.
If your dialogue is anything
we
like
must
this,
therefore be builders and not people who seek to destroy the future of South Africans. While we may differ on many issues, we agree on one thing, that we need to build a better South Africa and improve the well-being of our people, and that we should do so not by sitting on the sidelines and shouting. We should be in the scrum working to develop the lives of our people.
You're just busy looting.
And so, as we enter the new era in the world and in our own country, let us speak of empathy, of compassion, that we have for one another. Let us speak of the pride that we have of our country and all that we have achieved. Let us speak of the determination that won us freedom and drives us forward now to a better future. With this determination, we will work together to make this an era of growth, of progress and transformation.
There it is.
We will work together to build the nation that we want.
Make it a drinking game every time
And
it
we
says
will
transformation.
only be able to do it by working together and not by shouting together. And we will only be able to do it by ensuring that we as the leaders ensure that those who will come after us, our children and our great children, inherit a country that we have helped to build, not to destroy. Thank you very much.
Of course, he gets a standing ovation from the ANC. Let me just switch this cock off. All right. There was a lot that was said. I did not expect it to be this long. I ran out of PNGs. I'm sorry, guys. I promise you the next time I do this, I'll have a lot more PNGs. I'll be able to do a lot more funny moments. I did not I thought it was going to be like 30 minutes or something. 40 minutes max. This is like an hour and a half. This is ridiculous. But first of all, thank you to everybody who gave a super chat or a Sasa chat. It's greatly appreciated. If I'm not mistaken, we have 14 super chats left to go to the goal. But I mean, if we don't make it, it is what it is. That's not it's not the end of the world. But thank you guys so much for giving a super chat. Before you go, for those of you that are watching, before you go, please consider becoming a member on this channel. You get some perks if you're a member. Just go to that join button at the bottom of the screen there and become a member. Very cheap, 60 Rand a month, I think it is. And yeah, I get to support this channel and support what I do on this channel. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. My final thoughts on this is that, look, a lot of it is lies. How many times has Cyril promised, I don't know, smart cities? By the way, I have a video on that coming out soon. He promised smart cities in 2020 or something like that 5 years ago, okay? And in a video, I show just exactly where those smart cities are at the moment in terms of being built. And I think you're going to be either shocked or surprised, or maybe surprisingly shocked. I don't know. Yeah, that video alone will tell you everything you need to know about this speech. Because, again, Cyril promises and promises and promises, and says these great things, these great buzzwords, and it's all a show. It's all a show to his to the ministers, to the South Africans or voters that support him. There are some worrying things like digital ID. It seems like they're going to push hard for that, and also with the whole NHI thing, saying that it's going to be all digital. It makes me wonder about the expropriation bill, right? Because remember, the expropriation bill is very vague with the word property, anything that belongs to you. And so does that mean your body will not belong to you anymore? I don't know. It sounds like the government's going to have access to a lot of our information, and that really worries me if they go down the NHI route. But then again, this is the government or the ANC that we're talking about. They can't really implement things, although it is a GNU now, so maybe they will be able to implement it. I don't know. Only time will tell. Other things like building things and making things and, job opportunities and blah, 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 blah. The answer for job opportunities has always been there for the ANC. All they had to do was cut the red tape back, reduce the amount of regulations, open up the economy in terms of a free market, and boom, you would have probably a surplus of jobs and people working, and middle class growing and all that stuff. But no, the government just wants to create more red tape for businesses, which makes it more difficult for businesses to employ people. And then the businesses get the raw end of the deal because even though the government are the ones that made the horrible regulations that make it difficult for businesses to employ people, the businesses get blamed for not employing people. So there's that, and I'm just scratching the tip of the iceberg here. Not to mention the education thing. He was talking about education, improving education. When you have 13,000, what was it? Somebody commented 13,000 inmates that are teachers. That tells you everything you need to know right there. This guy is not serious one bit. Nothing he says, everything he says was a lie. Everything. And maybe, yes, they do have these plans to implement certain things, like the digital thing and all that stuff, but I can guarantee you that we'll be having the same conversation. The same thing will be said next year. He might say like, oh, we're almost there. We're almost there to the point where we're going to have drones protecting us. Meanwhile, I don't think that's going to work at all. The whole digital security thing, how is that going to work in townships? I think that's really only going to affect the middle class. If it is implemented at all, it's going to suck for us. And I'm sure they wouldn't mind being a surveillance state, right? Like China, where there's surveillance everywhere. They know exactly where you are at all times. Social currency, all that stuff. So that might be coming. That might be coming. But luckily for us, our government is very corrupt and would rather spend the money on themselves than try and implement these things. And if they do implement it, it's usually very slow and not the best. I mean, they said they're going to revamp the website as well. Yeah, we'll see. The website right now really is horrible. Like, it is the worst website you can ever think of. But if they revamp it, of course, probably some money laundering going on there, allegedly. And I don't think anything's going to come of it. All in an effort to try and make things smoother, fine. But at the end of the day, what was this State of the Nation? He didn't really say much about the state of the nation. And he just kind of gave more empty promises and dreams to the future. And John Steenhuisen was there like, which is also like, it just shows you how things have changed. Before in other sonas, he'd be very aggressive, or he wouldn't be laughing, or he wouldn't even be smiling. He'd be very he wouldn't even clap. So you can just see right there how the DA is towards the ANC. And I think that's very telling. I think that's extremely telling. I think the DA has complete control over, I think the ANC has complete control over the DA, even if the DA doesn't want to admit it. And the DA can say, oh, we're just keeping face, we're just being polite, we're being nice because we're in the GNU, it's the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. You can do all that all you want, but DA has proven that they are no longer, they're not just spineless, they're toothless, they've rolled over, they've given up. They're just happy to be in a place of power. But anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say on that matter. I do have to go. But before I do, I am interested. This was a pretty decent SONA. Yeah, Xavier. Oh my word, dude! If you think this was a decent SONA, why? Like, I don't know. Maybe we should have a conversation on my show because, yeah, I don't want to get into it now. But I would love to have a conversation at some point because it wasn't a decent SONA. A decent SONA in what? That Cyril looked, well dressed. That he was speaking well. What was decent about this SONA? That it didn't cut off. That they had decorated the place nicely. Again, nothing that Cyril said is going to come to fruition. We know this. But anyway, yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to go. Thank you guys so much for lots of reasons. There were some red flags. Some, okay. Anyway, Xavier, your hope in the ANC astounds me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you all for the Sussa chat. We didn't get to the goal, but that's fine. 6 Sussa chats, greatly appreciated from everybody who gave. Sean, Macy, we also had Peter, and we had wait, can I see who gave here? The goal ends in 12 minutes anyway. I can't see the list, but thank you guys so much for all of you that that donated. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, sorry that there wasn't a lot of PNGs. Next time I will be better prepared, I promise. Anyway, yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the SONA. And guys, I've got a video coming out tomorrow, so check that out. And I've got an important stream happening on Monday evening, which I'll announce tomorrow as well, so look out for that. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. I was going to say your newsflash is in, but this is not a newsflash show. No, just thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more streams in the future. Cheers.